everyone, so for this first activity, what I'm going to get you all to do is I'm going to get you all to use these selection tools. And I'm going to describe what they are in just a sec. But essentially what you're going to do is you are going to use these selection tools on these various plants or these various leaves that I have in this document for you. All right, so this will be uploaded to Google Classroom. However, what you're also going to need to do is you're going to also have to create a new document that's a regular size sheet of paper. All right, so you go to File, New. All right, and this is actually going to be the document where you are going to put your leaves on. So right here, I just call this leaves example. You can call it like leave assignment or something. It's up to you really what you want to name it. I'm going to make it a 8.5 by 11 document. All right, and I'm going to switch this to inches. That's very important. You need to do that. If you leave it in pixels, it is not going to let you do 0.5s of pixels, so you got to be careful with that. DPI, I leave it at 72, and then everything else is fine, so you can just press create. All right, so now you've got these two tabs that are up. So you've got the leaves practice document, and then you got your leaves assignment document where you're going to put your final results along with your labels and all of that, so I can see which ones are which. All right, so one of the first things that you're going to use here is going to be your rectangular marquee tool or your rectangle select tool. Y'all, in Photoshop it is called your rectangular marquee tool. In Photopea it is called your rectangle select tool. So I'm going to click on this. Doesn't really matter what we call it, but this right here, ultimately these tools that you're going to use here are going to be called your selection tool. All right, with these selection tools you're literally selecting certain pixels in different ways. All right, this first tool, it being a marquee tool, what you're going to do is you're actually going to set an area that you want to select from. All right, or you're going to create the area that you're going to select. So for instance here, this is going to be in the shape of a rectangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click and I'm going to drag, all right, and I'm going to let go around this first leaf. All right, when you do that, you'll get like these dotted lines that pop up around this object. In Photoshop, it'll look like they're marching, like it'll look like they're walking like around the object. It's kind of funny. But here, you'll just see these dotted lines. All right, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to take my move tool. All right, and I need to make sure I'm in my background layer, which I am, and I need to also make sure it's not locked. So I need to unlock that just in case yours is. And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag this. All right, and as you can see here, it moves everything that was in that rectangle. Okay, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to click and drag this onto my leaves assignment. Let's see if that'll work. And I don't think that that's actually going to work. Maybe not. I guess that's not going to work. So what I'm actually going to do, let's see if I can do that. Okay, I guess that's going to be how we do this. All right, so what I did here is this area that I have selected right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to press Control C, or that is a shortcut for copying. You could technically go to Edit as well and copy it, just like that. Then I'm going to go to my other tab, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit and paste it. All right, just like that. All right, so that's going to be my first little plant that's right there, and I'm going to do that to the first two. All right, so I'm just going to make sure that I select the first two. Now, if you don't want this this little marching ant thing to be there, I usually just go to my marquee tool and I'll just click out, somewhere. It doesn't really matter where you click out. And I'm actually going to undo that because I accidentally moved it. There it goes. And I can just click somewhere. Also, another thing that you could do is, I guess the shortcut key is not going to work for this program. But either way, that's how you would select it. All right, or unselect, I should say. So take your marquee tool, and then just click out in this dark gray area. All right, so like I said, you're going to do that to the first two, so just try your best to get as close as possible as you can to that. And now that I'm here, I'm just going to paste it. All right, so these are going to be my first two right in there. All right, my next two, I'm actually going to use my Lasso Tool. All right, so with my Lasso Tool, this one right here, what it actually does is, let me zoom in on this plant right here so I can edit it out a little bit better. All right, that's better. All right, now with my lasso tool, instead of you creating like a shape, like a square, this is kind of like a free-handed tool that's going to let you select your area by clicking and dragging and creating the area yourself. All right. This could be helpful for what you want to do. Could be not. It could not be. It just kind of depends. But for our practice, it is going to be helpful. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to click and drag, and I am going to try my best to get as close as possible to the edge of this area. All right. Just try your best to get as close as you can. If you really mess up, let's say that you kind of do this number and then you like accidentally go all the way back like this. I'm going to show you how you could fix that in just a little bit. All right, but right now I'm just going to go all the way around just like that. All right, and as you can see, I did mess up just a tad, just like a little tiny bit in some areas, but that's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Now what's really going to be important here is going to be how, let's see if that, okay, yeah, that does work. It just does not show up like I want it to. Okay, so for this tool, you can add selection area or you can subtract selection area. All right, and I know that this concept is going to be a little difficult to comprehend at first. However, what I want you to see on this sheet right now, or on this document, is that this area that is inside of the dotted lines, this is area that you have selected, okay, or selection area that you made. Now you can either add to that selection area or you can subtract from it. All right, what I need to do for this like big screw up, for this like big mess up that I did on the left hand side, is I need to subtract this, or I need to take it away from the area that I created. All right, I added too much area here, so I'm going to subtract this whole thing. Now what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hold down Alt. Now in Photoshop, you would be able to see like a little minus sign or a plus sign if you hold down Shift. So Shift actually lets you add selection area, which I'm going to do to the top of these like lead areas right here. But what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to hold down Alt. All right. Now this is very easy for me just because I've used it before, but I do know that, again, this little concept right here is going to be a little difficult for some people to like get at first. All right, as I hold down Alt, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to select the area, or I'm going to make an area that I want to subtract from this here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be very careful, and I am just going to go around the edge of that leaf, and then I'm just going to like encompass this whole entire like little messed up thing that I made earlier. And what it does is that it takes everything that was inside of that area I just created and it takes it away just like that. All right, so one more time, I just held on Alt. All right, and at first I just kind of went around the edges that I did like, and then I encompassed the whole entire thing. And you have to be careful here because I don't think I got it all. I think I got it all now, but and now right here, if I hold down Shift, what I can do is I can tell this program, hey, I really want to add this part into your selection area. So I just added that little edge. I can add like this little edge by just circling the whole thing there, just like that, and that adds it. And then I can add even more here by just clicking and dragging and just creating a circle around there. All right, and essentially that is how you would create that. All right, so once you get the selection area looking how you want it to, I can take my move tool, and again it's locked right here, so what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hold down Control C, click over here, Control V, and as you can see, the selection area that I created, it takes away, like it doesn't have that like on the outside of that leaf right here. All right, so that's ultimately, this is what I really want to see there. All right, now then you're going to do the next two like that. So you're going to do this one and you're going to do that one using your Marquee, or sorry, using your Lasso tool. All right, the next one is our Polygonal Lasso tool. And what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to click on the Polygonal Lasso. All right, and this is a pretty good one for the Polygonal Lasso, at least I think so. And what this is going to do is that this is going to let you create a selection area, but you make every single edge. All right, so right here, I'm just gonna click, and I'm literally clicking on like each like little edge, and it's free-handed still, so I could technically like really mess this up if need be. But ultimately, you're just going to be clicking and dragging and making each of these selection areas just like that. All right. It is not a tough thing to do. It just, if you have like a lot of straight edges or a lot of like corners in like in a thing that you want to use, and you have a really not sloppy hand, but you have like a really shaky hand, this program or this tool, sorry, could be like a really good tool to use for that. And ultimately, I just brought it back to the end, and now this is what I've got. And I would just click and drag this. Well, if I could click and drag it, but I'm just going to copy it. So press Control C, then come over to this document, press Control V, all right, to paste it. So that would be my next one right there. All right, so that's Polygonal Lasso, and I would do the next two like that. So I've gotten these two done, these two are done, and then these two are done as well. So the last thing that I'm going to use is going to be this magnetic lasso. And I'm going to kind of zoom in on this bottom image right here. Now, I do know that a lot of students like to use this one just because it does seem a little bit simpler. It seems a little easier. And it is. I will definitely give it that. So I usually try to start off on a corner somewhere, probably like here. And then what I'm actually going to do here is I'll just click and drag. And as you can see here, I'm not clicking and dragging. I'm actually just moving my cursor around. And with time, you'll start to see that based off of your tolerances, which right now, I don't see the options here for the tolerances, but either way, what it's going to do is that it is going to kind of hold on to the pixels that are really, really close in color. And it is going to essentially create like a selection area for you. And it's going to try to kind of follow that. There's going to be, and you have to do it where the colors are pretty different from each other in order for it to turn out a good result. So for instance, like this light background and then the darker leaf is a good contrast for this to happen. But if I just click and I literally just drag, I don't even have to like click and hold. I can actually just click, make one corner, and then just drag using my mouse. It's actually going to automatically create this selection area for you just like this, all right? And what I'm going to do here is I am going to control that or Control C that and then Control V it, all right? And that is how I would do the last three, all right, using my magnetic lasso. Okay, so the first two, and actually this is going to be very important right here. So I'm actually going to click on this object right there. Let's see if I can. Okay, so layer 1 and layer 2, I use those as rectangular. Marquee. And I'm actually going to put like one on there. One rectangular marquee, two rectangular marquee. Oh, I really spelled that wrong. There it goes. All right, layer 3. That one was done using my lasso tool. So one lasso tool. All right, and you actually have two with this. I know I don't have it, but I'm going to create another one. So I'm going to do two lasso tool. Let's see, this next one was the Polygonal Lasso. So I'm going to type in one Polygonal Lasso. I'm going to add a new layer, new Polygonal Lasso. The next one was, or the last one I should say, this one was magnetic lasso. So one magnetic lasso. And then I got one more, which I actually have three more. So for this last one, For the last one, you'll have 3 magnetic lassos. So 2, and then 3. All right, so y'all, I just want to put this out there. For this one, for this activity specifically, you are going to have to turn in your layers. So, just kind of be aware of that. I just want to make sure that your layers are looking good for this activity. Also, I know that we haven't really gotten too in depth with this, but I do want you to label each of these. All right, so I'm going to take like my text tool, and I'll go over a little bit more about what this means. But just know that for this first one right here, it's still loading up. But for let's actually make this, maybe it's just too small. Okay, so for this first one, I'm going to call this rectangular marquee. Alright, and I'm just going to put this label like right above it, just like that. Alright, and I'm going to do the same thing with my other ones. Alright, so this next one is going to be Lasso Tool. I'm going to create one more. This one is Polygonal Lasso Tool. And then this last one, this one is Magnetic Lasso Tool. Alright, so this is how I want you to do this assignment. So you're going to put all of those leaves from this last one, so you have a total of 9. All right, so remember, you've got 2 rectangular marquees, 2 lassos, 2 polygonals, so that's a total of 6, and then you have 3 magnetic lasso tools. And y'all, it is pretty easy to tell if you're using the correct lasso tool, so just make sure that you're using the correct one. I just want you to get practice with each of these selection tools, and also just get practice with the adding and the subtracting of selection area as well. It's going to make a really big difference. And make sure that you are also naming all of your layers. That's going to be really big for this assignment as well. Let me know if you have any questions, any concerns at all, but I look forward to seeing what y'all create. Thank you very much. Have a great day.